The number one excuse for not approaching. The number one excuse for guys not approaching is this: I don't want to bother her. And this one is powerful, right? Because it feels considerate. It feels respectful. It feels somewhat moral. It lets you walk away feeling like you're a good person. But here's the distinction that most guys never make or understand. There is a big difference between crossing a line and initiating contact. And your fear or nervous system is treating them like the same thing, and they're not. Crossing a line means continuing after disinterest is shown. Ignoring signals. A lot of guys have a problem with ignoring signals as well. You know, not respecting space or not respecting no. No means no. But saying hello, initiating conversation for a brief moment, or starting a light interaction is not crossing the line. It's an invitation, not a demand. The pressure or the fear comes from the meaning that you're loading onto it. So most guys aren't thinking, oh, I might inconvenience her for 3 seconds. They're thinking, what if I go too far? What if I'm misreading this? What if I feel stupid? What if I look stupid? What if I look disrespectful? What if this proves something about me? What if this proves something about my value or my worth? So instead of seeing the approach as just something that's neutral, it becomes a test of your calibration, a test of your intelligence, a test of your confidence or worth. And that's why it feels so heavy. So here's the part that relieves a lot of pressure once you see it. You are not responsible for managing her internal experience. You are responsible for your behavior, not her emotions. You don't know if you're bothering her, you're guessing. And that guess is almost always biased towards self-protection. So I used to do this constantly. I'd see a woman I want to go and speak to, and I would feel that urge to go and have a conversation. And then my brain would automatically jump into prediction mode. You know, maybe she's busy. She looks busy. She looks like someone that doesn't want to get disturbed. She looks like she doesn't want to be bothered. You know, she's probably tired of guys speaking to her. She probably doesn't want to be interrupted right now. But if you notice, and it's subtle, what actually happened there? I never actually gave her the choice. I was deciding for her. Because deciding for her was then safer than actually letting the reality of the situation respond. But then every time I walked away or didn't do it, I felt a relief. But that relief was short-lived, because underneath there was this quiet frustration that I didn't give myself a chance, and I didn't even give her a chance. So here's a really powerful grounding reframe that will help, that matters. An approach is not an imposition, it's a request for engagement, and requests can be declined. If she's not interested, distracted, or busy, that information shows up quickly. So a short response, no questions back, closed body language, that's not rejection, that's just clarity. And crossing a line and being disrespectful only happens when you ignore that clarity. And I see a lot of guys do that. They cannot take no for an answer. But pushing for more is coming from that same insecure place that doesn't want to bother people. Anxiety is not waiting for clarity, because all it's doing is assuming danger before anything has even happened. And that's why most confidence advice misses this point. You don't need more confidence. You just need less weight on that first moment. The moment you stop treating this approach or this interaction, this conversation, as a measurement of your worth and your value and who you are deep down, whether you're a good person or not, then the nervous system will relax. There won't be so much pressure on some outcome or doing it right. And now the stakes that you've put on it are realistic. Once you drop that pressure about what it means, the risk won't be so high. And it goes from, am I worthy? These approaches with this high pressure situation go from, am I worthy, to, is this just a mutual interaction? And the problem is, if guys don't ever understand this distinction between just initiation and her having the actual right to just say no, you end up being creepy. You end up just walking around, noticing women, hesitating, postponing action, not saying what you really want to say. And then she notices that. She feels creeped out by that. She then feels like there is something that you are hiding. There's something that you're not showing. There's something that you're not being honest about. And over time, if you keep doing this, you're damaging this reputation with yourself. You don't believe in yourself. So then how does that look when you actually do go and speak to people? So it's important to understand this isn't a personality flaw. You don't have to fix yourself. All it is a strategy that you've learned. And once you understand this distinction, you don't need to force confidence anymore. You don't need to force bravery. All you're doing is offering an invitation to engage or not. You stop confusing initiation with violation. And for me, that distinction alone relieved so much pressure, more than any trick or line or opener or mindset ever did. If this hits close to home and you want to work through this properly, not with more lines or openers or hype or pushing through or willpower or discipline, but by understanding this mechanism, understanding this strategy, understanding yourself. I run a school group where we break down these patterns in real time. We do weekly live calls, actual diagnosis, deep dives, giving you practical clarity so approaching and speaking and starting a conversation doesn't become some moral dilemma or test of your worth. So go check the link out below when you're ready. And if this video has been helpful, and you want to learn what the number one limiting belief is that's stopping you from going out and speaking to whoever you want, go to this video here. It's amazing.